Shalom, 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 saints. All right, I have a quick update on our inclement weather policy. So we're going to be lifting the inclement weather. We're going to be lifting our inclement weather policy after tomorrow. And so we'll resume our normal lesson schedule for the week. We were able to be spared where we were at. We were able to be spared the worst of it. I'm going to show you that in just a moment. That's why it's a praise report. So we just wanted to thank people also for their prayers, because we weren't when we went out looking for generators and supplies. There were no generators to be found anywhere in North Mississippi, Central Mississippi. Nowhere in Western Alabama, North Alabama, and nowhere in Western Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. Everywhere we called, and on the morning before the storm, before the winter storm started coming in, going out to look for generators as well, we could not find any. So thank God the power did not go out for us. I ended up ordering a generator and online that's going to be delivered here to us sometime next week. So if anything happens in the future where the power does go out, we will have a generator in the future. And all praises to the Elohim that we did not lose any power. We did not lose any power over the course of this winter storm where we are located. And just for a note, I did have a dream and a vision back in September that there was going to be a winter storm. And I thought it was just going to be that cold, that one we had at the end of November, beginning of December. But when I originally had the dream and I got the interpretation, the Elohim kept telling me it was going to be in Babylon, Janus. So that was the one. And in that dream, same thing that happened here. So the same thing that happened to me in that dream and in that vision, I didn't have the proper provisions with me. I had provisions, but they just were not with me, which is what ended up happening this time, because I couldn't find a generator and I ended up having to order one online. And so I have one, but it's just not arriving until after the storm. So I didn't have it with me. So the Elohim had actually warned me in advance. That's the lesson we did, the video lesson. It wasn't a live stream. We uploaded one of our old lessons for the Sabbath. More people should have actually watched that lesson, even though it was an old lesson and a re-upload, because it was about how God speaks to us, right? The Elohim speaks to us in dreams and visions. And the Elohim has been speaking to me and Amber a lot lately in dreams and visions. And something I was reminded of over this weekend and this Sabbath was I have to take those dreams and visions seriously. And the Elohim is talking to us in the dreams and visions. And what the Elohim is revealing in those dreams and visions will come to pass without a shadow of a doubt. So you need to take them seriously and prepare. Because there's been so many dreams and visions that me and my wife have had in the last month, 2 months, and all of them are coming to pass. Had one, haven't talked to the baby mom, the baby mama, but had a dream and a vision and got the interpretation oh, they're going to be laying off people where she works. And then, a week later, I'm scrolling through the news on my phone and they're like, oh, the government department she works for in Canada, I was scrolling through just regular news. I wasn't even looking for this. I was just looking at regular news and they were like, Canada's government is doing massive layoffs. And one of the departments where they're doing massive layoffs is the department she works for. I had a dream about that, had a dream and a vision about that prior. Also had a dream and a vision that she was going to decide to try to mess around with some dude, and it's going to end up backfiring again. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. And you can't go against, just with that, you can't go against God's word. And the Bible says for women, if they were married and y'all end up divorced or whatever, the woman cannot get remarried again until her first husband dies. Right? So the Bible's undefeated. This is something me and Amber have been saying a lot to each other lately. Your arms are too short to box with God, because there's lots of there's so many things that have been happening in the past couple months where it was just like, oh, everything in them dreams have come to pass. So anyways, even down to recent plumbing issues we've been having, we had dreams about that, right? And that came to pass. You know, when we were trying to go get more supplies on Shabbat Eve, we ended up having to come back early because the vehicle is cool to drive around town now, and I got the window fixed, and it's cool to drive around town. But if we hop on the freeway or interstate and try to drive consistently over 60 miles per hour, the RPM jumps and too much. And so we were trying to go get some more supplies on Shabbat Eve, but we ended up having to turn back around. When we came back home, we had left some clothes washing. And when we came back home, we saw that the water had started coming up right through the floor some. So we were like, all right. And we already knew there was some plumbing issues with where the washroom was, but with the house. But when we came back, we're like, oh, this is a more serious thing that we're going to have to get fixed. We're going to have to get fixed next week. And we've already had plumbers come out to fix some other issues. But we had a dream. We had dreams and visions about that, right? So point being, when the Elohim gives you a dream or a vision, all right, and you need to take it seriously, take it seriously, all right? And when you try to go against the word of God, it's never going to end up well for you. So let that be a word. Let that be a word to the sisters, right? Now, that doesn't apply if y'all weren't married, but if you were married, right? If you were married to the dude and y'all are divorced, you are not supposed to biblically get remarried again until that first husband dies. And so it is what it is. And you could try to be boo-boo the fool and go against what God says, but it's not going to end. It's not going to end well for you, right? I can use my mom for an example. My mom is on marriage number 5, husband number 4, which is my dad. It's great they've been married because I'm 41, so they've been married 42 years. Great. But those previous marriages, my mom's first husband was alive, and I just mentioned to you she's on husband 4, marriage number 5. Your arms are too short to box with God. Do not attempt to try to go against God's will. It's not going to work, right? So anyways, just quick praise report. And I want to show y'all the proof of the praise report. Y'all's prayers for us in this winter storm worked. Our prayers worked. All right, the Elohim protected the prophet and his wife pretty miraculously. We were we moved just south enough where we live now in Mississippi. We have moved just south enough and just east enough in Mississippi to avoid the ice and the snow. It was miraculous. We were right on the line, right? Right on the line. So great. So quickly, I'll just show you. Let me lower myself. Y'all's prayers worked. So if you see this is the radar. I screenshotted it. This is the radar on Shabbat at 6:15 in the morning. where that little blue dot is, that represents on the border of Mississippi and Alabama, that represents the area we live in. All right, we live in this area called New Hope. It's an unincorporated area. It's an unincorporated like town or area in Mississippi called New Hope, outside of Columbus. And so that's where that blue dot is. And if you look here on the map, that blue is snow. The pink is a mixture of snow and ice, and the purple is ice, right? And if you look here on the map where we are, right, on the Shabbat at 6:15 in the morning, it was just north and west of us, right? And you can even see a little patch popping up right above the little blue dot. And I'm going to show you some more as the storm progressed. The Elohim protected us and did us an ultimate solid. Oh, one other thing with the dreams really quick, the dreams and visions. So there's Im Adonai Yireh, if the Lord wills or provides. I'm going to do a short history lecture tomorrow on the Mississippi Center for Afro-Hebraic Research and Culture. On that YouTube channel, there's going to be a short live stream lecture on the origins of the word kafir. Because I had my faith was increased because I had a vision. I had a daughter, and Brother Daryl was in the dream too. I dapped him up. I told the church, I was like, in the dream, I'm like, yeah, man, you got to have that faith. Finally had that baby, but it was a girl. I want a girl. Amber wants a boy. But anyways, and Brother Daryl was in the vision too. It was a lot of stuff in that vision, but it was clear as day. And in the vision, when I was dapping up Daryl, I was like, yep, that Yom Kippur, man, that Yom Kippur really hit. Because that's what I was praying for during this last Yom Kippur. I was praying for the son I already have, and Amber was praying for us to have a child. Like that was our main focus on during Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement. And how this connects to the lesson, to the history lecture we're going to do tomorrow, is because of Day of Atonement. And if I have a girl, the name I want to name her, it made me start thinking about the word atonement in Hebrew. And then I was like, I wonder if that's related to the word kafir that's used to describe Bantus, like in East Africa, Southern Africa, and in like South Asia and Southeast Asia, where Bantus were taken in the diaspora. I was like, I wonder if the two words are related. And sure enough, they are. So like, sure enough, they were. So that led to why I'm going to end up doing that history lecture tomorrow, literally from that dream and vision and the Elohim showing me to have faith, to keep having faith, like how Abraham and Sarah had to have faith. And we're going to trust in the Lord that he'll provide me and Amber with a child of our own. And we are still going to adopt as well in the future, Lord willing. That is the plan. Because we want to emulate the Elohim in all things. So the Father had, we have the Son of God, right, with the Father. So me and Amber want a child of our own, right, biologically. But then remember, us, the saints, we get adopted into the family, right? So we get adopted into the Elohim family. We're adopted as sons and daughters of God. So following after the example of the Elohim, me and Sister Amber also want to adopt a kid in the future. But anyways, I digress, but I don't digress. Them dreams and visions have been hidden, man. And I still keep having buku dreams and visions about these Chinese and these South Asians and them taking over America and them being the biggest threat to the West, right? And, people don't want to take it serious, take them warnings serious. It's on them. But that China threat and that Hindu threat is coming down the pipeline, and it's coming real soon. All right. Anyways, Now, you see here, we've lucked out. This was on 6:15 on the Sabbath, right? This next screenshot, this was around noon on Shabbat, right? Around 12:30 on Shabbat. And again, you see the purple, pink. It's not where we're at. And you start seeing the green to form. That's just rain. That's all we got was just rain, right? Just rain for we got rain for a long time, right? It rained for like a day and a half nonstop straight. All right, so if you notice here where the blue dot is, still the Elohim spared us. And if you remember, if you want to know why we were so like concerned before we moved here, and we've been wanting to move to Mississippi for like a while. And we're thankful to the Elohim we're here. We're thankful to the Elohim we're here now. And this is where we're going to be permanently. This is where we're going to be permanently for the rest of life, unless the Elohim says otherwise. And the Elohim may tell us otherwise, but the Elohim had already told us this is where he wants us to be. This is where our ancestors and stuff are. And it's the safe place. If you see what's going on right now in America, like especially like in Minnesota, that like here in Mississippi, that's not even allowed. Like Mississippi passed laws. You can't protest. You can't protest outside of or near government buildings. It's illegal. So, and if you're thinking like, well, what about the Constitution and blah, blah, blah. Mississippi does a lot of stuff that is not that's not constitutional by on a federal level, but nobody ever challenges it. So it is what it is. All right. Oh, and also with that, so just one quick thing, because Americans have a lot of misconceptions. There's nowhere in the Constitution where you have the right to protest. That's not in the First Amendment. The First Amendment says you have the right to peacefully assemble, right? To try to address any grievances you have with the government, right? You don't have the right to protest, right? You have the right to peaceably assemble. That's what it actually says. So it would be madness for any government. It's madness for any government, any nation, to have it enshrined where you allow your citizens to protest and attack and come against the government. What's the point of having a nation? All right. America is going towards collapse. I got to get this in there. This members of the church and synagogue, you already know this. The clock is ticking. America's got max 35 years to the collapse. Time could be shortened for that. Safe place is going to be Mississippi and Alabama. I'm going to keep telling y'all this. Anybody with ears to hear and eyes to see, and if you have a spirit of discernment, you can already tell America is collapsing and it's going towards anarchy and chaos. And when that anarchy and chaos hits, when the dust settles, the Hindus and the Chinese are going to be the ones who have taken over here and have supplanted the original people, the Native Americans, the African Americans who were brought over here, as slaves and indentured servants, and those Anglo-Celtic people who came over as settlers and also as indentured servants. The people who built America were these immigrants who came after the Civil War and up until now come and reap the benefits and the fruits of what those people built, right? When America is going to collapse and it's going to be supplanted by Chinese and Hindus taking over. Only safe place is going to be Mississippi and Alabama. If you pay attention to what's going on right now, just got to get this in. And I'll go back to our praise report in just a moment. But I got to get this in because I've been bearing. My spirit has been grieved. Like all the stuff that's going on in America right now, my spirit is being grieved. I want the federal government to crack down on these protesters. They need to go down there. They need to go down there and establish law and order and bust heads. All right, because we're tinkering towards anarchy. Right? If you can't, if law enforcement are not allowed to do their job, and if anytime law enforcement If anytime law enforcement has to, eliminate a suspect or take somebody down, there's all these protests against it. And if the majority of people are against law enforcement being able to actually enforce the law, because remember, nobody's going to do right unless you make them do right, right? Those of us who are parents, you have kids, your kid, if there's not any fear of repercussion, if there's not any fear of punishment, your kid is just going to do whatever they want to do. Okay. And right now in America, it's getting to the point where, and when I say America, this isn't Mississippi and Alabama, and it's not the deep South, right? So it's not the Southern United States. This is the real South, right? So real South meaning from East Texas over to South Carolina and down and like the Panhandle, north part of Florida, all that in between, like that South, right? Not North Carolina, not Virginia, all right? Not that, all right? But anyways, outside of that area, other than there, in the rest of America, the majority of people are against law enforcement actually doing their job, right? If somebody's breaking the law and they refuse to heed commands and they're interfering with law enforcement doing their job and they're refusing to heed commands, right? They're going to have to be punished, all right? Or if they're threatening the law enforcement's life, they're going to have to be taken out, right? And we just did a chop session on this a couple weeks ago when Renee Nicole Good got shot by law enforcement in Minnesota. Excuse me. And we talked about this, how in the Torah, it tells you if you resist the judgment, if you resist the sentence of law enforcement, tells you this in the book of Deuteronomy, then they have the right to kill you, to execute you. All right. This is in the Bible, whether you like it or not. Okay. And right now, okay, if you're not getting what I'm saying, there's an anarchist spirit. There's an anarchist demonic spirit that is spreading all across America, where people have a problem with law being enforced. If you don't allow laws to be enforced, you end up with anarchy, right? Which, trust me, you don't want. And if you don't know what anarchy is, look it up. Okay. Just wanted to get that in there. And that being said, all right, there's certain, when people come here, if you're coming here to visit the church or synagogue, you're coming here for the feast days, you come to Mississippi, you need to act right. Don't come here on no BS. Don't come here with your don't come here with no weirdo liberal ideas, because it's not going to fly. And me and Amber aren't going to co-sign that because we don't agree and we got to live here. And like I said, don't come here with that. Don't come here with that type of stuff. They still hang people from trees here. Okay. You come here acting right and acting like you got common sense, everything will be fine. You come here I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. You can get fined or go to jail here if you're using profanity out in public and there's two or more people around you who don't want to hear profanity. You can go to jail for that. For real. Or you can get fined. Okay. So again, like I said, don't come visiting here, right? If you don't have the right mindset. Okay. If you have the right mindset, then come. Okay. We don't want a bunch of weirdos from the rest of the country coming here ruining the safe place. All right. Because Mississippi and Alabama is the safe place. Okay. So that's just a warning to people before you come. Don't come to Mississippi on that weirdo stuff. Okay. Don't. Another one, if you're an interracial couple and you don't like getting looked at and you don't like being rude and you don't like being, you know what I'm talking about. I don't recommend coming here. Okay. All right. Anyways, I digress, but I don't digress. Okay. I like me and Amber like where we're at. We're back home. We don't want any weirdos coming here and messing it up. Okay. You want to do that weird stuff? Stay in Minnesota, stay in New York, stay in California, stay in them weird places if you want to do the weird stuff. Don't come here doing that weird stuff. All right. Now, This is a video of the radar. And again, you can see that little blue dot. And you see the purple just keeps going directly around us, but not hitting us. So again, this is a praise report, and thanking y'all for your prayers, and also us praying the Lord spared us. Literally, we were right on the line. And this was from, as you see here on the radar, this was from the Sabbath afternoon going into what Babylon calls Saturday night, early Sunday morning. All right, next one. This was from earlier today. So this morning, going into this afternoon. So you can literally see the prayers worked. We were spared, and it was good because there's actually been a lot of power outages in Mississippi. I'm going to show you in just a moment. And we were literally spared. All right. So the Elohim, notice there, look at that. Like, it got real close at that point. All right. And then it's the last one. I screenshotted this on my phone at 11:10 this morning. And you can see that purple ice, right? And it got to Starkville and was getting close to where we are, but just missed us, right? And then to show you the power outages, that this is the utility company that we have. It covers 4 counties. Here in Mississippi, it covers Oktibbeha, Clay County, Lowndes County, and Noxubee County. All right. And just for reference, if it's Lowndes and Clay, those are English names. Oktibbeha means bloody water or icy water. And in Choctaw, Noxubee is a Choctaw word for stinky place. All right. But if you look here, there was a lot of power outages, right, with our utility company, but not in the area where we're at. And I have where we live circled with that X in the middle. So the Elohim really did protect us. And so thank you for y'all's prayers. Just to show you how dire the situation is, though, for the northern half of Mississippi, this is the outage map right now. All right. And so right now it says, so basically 154,000. Mississippi has a little less than 3 million people. So when it says customers out, that's households, are places, buildings that have electricity where the power is out. Most people don't live by themselves. And here in Mississippi, it's still traditional. So a lot of people still live like, big families, or husband, wife, or people with kids, a mom with kids. So you can always take this number and triple it at a minimum to let you know how many people it is, right? So that's really being affected. So that's more like 450 to almost 500,000 people, right? So that would be about like 15 to 20% of Mississippi's population right now is without power. All right, we have some members in Warren County, checked on them. They said they have power. Because as you see here, where that county is, 36% of the population is without power. All right. But we live up here in the Golden Triangle area, and all praises to the Most High, no power outages in our county. All right. But the neighboring county, power outage, close other counties. Okay. All right. And up here, more towards the Tennessee border, along the Tennessee border and closer to Memphis, they got a lot of power outages, right? Notice here, Benton County, 90% out, right? And these are the counties that are in like the Memphis metro area. Lafayette County, that's where Ole Miss is. Over 70% of the people are without power, all right? This is where Amber's dad's family is from. And up there, 71%, over 70% of the population is without power, right? So still keep people in prayer, right? In not just Mississippi and other parts of the South too, where they've lost power, and keep people in prayer, right? And thank you for y'all's prayers for us. They did work. So that's all I wanted to share with y'all, the praise report, showing you God literally did spare us. And we were right on that line. All right. Shalom, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week.